the 5. Well, Congress made it very clear they don't want to pass his jobs plan. So now, President Obama is resorting to other tactics to promote his agenda. Scare tactics. And it's not even Halloween. Take a listen to the president from yesterday.
If we don't work even harder than we did in 2008, then we're going to have a government that tells the American people, you are on your own. If you get sick, you're on your own. If you can't afford college, you're on your own. If you don't like that some corporation is polluting your air or the air that your child breathes, then you're on your own.
All right, you're on your own, Eric Boley.
Well, so let me get this straight. If we don't re-elect you, President Obama, in 2012, we're not going to get health care. We can't go to college. And maybe, just maybe, we won't be able to breathe because the air will be so bad.
Your child won't be able to breathe.
I'll make a deal with you.
Your child.
Give us a chance. I'd like to be. Let us be on our own. I'm hunch we'll be just fine without you.
He's saying if he loses, we're on our own. That's exactly the point. We're individuals. We don't see ourselves as groupthink. We don't see ourselves as splintered factions of different minorities. We are Americans.
You also don't need any help. I'd like to make a point here. Dana mentioned something about class warfare. Can we bring up...
In the break. I didn't get to make my point yet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Make your point about the class.
No, that's all right. Go right ahead.
No, because this my thing here will follow that perfectly. Go ahead.
I guess my point was that class warfare, once you start it, and you're going to wage it, it's very hard to pull back. I think he does not look presidential. I think that he has been so divisive. Now, that was a campaign event. There's not much difference in the rhetoric from last night's campaign event to today's taxpayer-funded presidential event where he asked students, you know what the problem here is, students? Republicans. And I find it so unappealing, and I think it's one of the reasons he has lost independence, and he'll continue to.
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what people think in the country about class warfare. Take a look at the CBS New York Times most recent poll. If you'll notice here that 66% favor more wealth distribution, as do I. Can you move that a little closer? I can't read the damn thing. 69% believe congressional Republicans favor the rich, which is true. 67% oppose lower taxes for large corporations, fortunately.
Like GE.
And 65% want taxes increased for those making $1 million. Now, I now have 2/3 of the country on my side. You guys want to continue to side with this? There is class warfare. You know why? Because Republicans have rewarded. You have rewarded people.
The poll is CBS New York Times.
And not only that, you know where they poll people? At Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Oakland, Occupy Tampa.
If you hadn't saved my life, I'd bust you right in the nose right now.
Oh my gosh, there's no violence.
I'm telling you. Wait a second. The class warfare began with the Republicans by rewarding the wealthy for the last 15 to 20 years, and this is the price you pay. He's right. If the Republicans take over the White House and the Congress, then we're going to find ourselves alone. You guys have money, and you'll be fine. You want to be left alone, fine. There's a lot of people in this country that need the government and need
the first one. They favored wealth distribution. That is the definition of socialism right there.
Well, that's 2/3 of the people. Why don't you move someplace else?
No, why don't they? I don't believe that.
Why don't they? That's the way to take care of your overpopulation.
Class warfare began on the college campuses in the 60s by liberals who pushed the idea that the rich were evil in order to get these kids indoctrinated into the left-wing thinking. It's been alive and well. You guys gave birth to it, Bob.
So you think the 2/3 of the country just are?
I think that's a biased poll. It's a New York Times poll. Come on.
It's not,
but I also think
you ask that question of any other poll, and you'll get exactly the same response.
You would not find that answer if you walked out of Times Square.
You don't think that people think Republicans favor the rich in the Congress?
Look, I
don't think they do.
They favor the successful.
Hold on, let's get Dana.
They favor the rich.
Class warfare can work, but it's disgusting and ugly, and it is not presidential.
Why? If it's real, why is it disgusting and ugly?
It's unpresidential. Bob, it's unpresidential for him to behave like this.
No,
it really is. Yes, it is, and it's going to backfire.
Exactly right.
Hold on, just because you're not upset quite enough, we're going to listen to Paul Ryan just to make you a little bit angrier.
Paul, is that the
Instead of working together where we agree, the president has opted for divisive rhetoric and the broken politics of the past. He's going from town to town, impugning the motives of Republicans, setting up straw men and scapegoats, and engaging in intellectually lazy arguments as he tries to build support for punitive tax hikes on job creators.
I mean, that's a great slot right there. Dana, right? Dana's not happy with Bob.
Well, okay, so that's the price you pay. Go ahead.
I think that it was a great speech by Paul Ryan. I think a lot of people wish that he would have said, And therefore, I'm going to run for president of the United States in 2012. That's not what he said, but his endorsement will be well sought. Bob, the name calling, just because you disagree with someone, and my mom would have sent me to my room had I said so many things about people.
I wasn't mean. I used the word wuss.
Well, it's not nice.
You have a nickname for everybody you dislike.
Come on, Bob.
Can you send him to his room?
Yes.
She already
Green room. I know exactly where it is, at the Muse Hotel.
Look.
Give him a timeout and a cookie.
He says an intellectual argument and that you can't have an intellectual argument.
Right.
The problem is that the arguments that he makes do take people like his Medicare program who cannot afford hospitalization and other things, and they put them out and give it to the free market, which I think is the most dangerous place you can give anybody for their health,
what's really
their welfare,
outrageous
and their future.
You know what's really outrageous about some of the class warfare stuff? Especially when they say that Republicans just care about the rich. Somebody like Paul Ryan, he's not a wealthy guy. He never worked for a corporation. This guy is a public servant who's making good arguments that you can disagree with, but I don't think it's fair to call people like that names.
There's nothing wrong with him. He's a good guy. We're both out of here.
If I were going to call him a name, I'd call him a real name. I mean, I tried to be mild about that. I think this guy is intellectually dishonest. I think his proposals are ridiculous. And I think that anybody thinks this guy ought to be president of the United States.
Well, you know what?
If it wasn't for you, Danny.
Let's call them names.
Wait for it, Bob, because one day it's going to happen. He won't be running this time, but look ahead, and you will see.
New Zealand trip will be coming up.
All right, well, coming up, because we all need some more Miss Manners training, your daily 2012 potpourri, including flip-flops, pole positions, and more. All of it. It's next on The Five. Stay with us.